In sales, your strategy is your brand. In one of my previous episodes of the Simply Sell podcast, we discussed sales and marketing and how they should work together. A lot was discussed with my guest, Ryan Lucia, owner of Aaron Overhead Doors, about branding. And it got me thinking about salespeople. If you're in sales, believe it or not, the way you sell or your strategy is your brand. And believe it or not, this brand is picked up everybody, from the clients you sell to your coworkers who you work with, and even your company suppliers. So if you're a distributor, the manufacturer picks up on the way that you sell. You could be that young salesperson, that's a brand, who's full of piss and vinegar, who's going to out-hustle the competition and leverage technology to be more efficient over the rest of the pack. You are going to use AI to help you drive engagement with your clients. You may not have the experience that others have. You're willing to admit that, but what you're willing to do is outwork them. Not only that, but you are willing to listen and learn to get better at your craft. This is inspiring to your clients who may want to see something refreshing and want to give you a shot. It certainly is inspiring to your coworkers who are going to be more inclined to run through a wall for you, knowing that you are busting your ass to make it happen. So another brand that I look at every day and I see is the Price Peddler. So what is the Price Peddler? So the Price Peddler is the person who sells completely on price and gives in to the client on everything. Every company has at least one of these salespeople, and really bad performing sales organizations and bad performing companies have too many of these type of salespeople. If you are this type of salesperson, your brand will attract the wrong type of clients who enjoy taking advantage of you because you make it easy, because you are the low price sales guy. The buyer will only have to just dangle this large volume opportunity in front of you and you cave with extended payment terms, maybe 90 to 180 day terms, the lowest price by far to everyone else. Basically, you just leave money on the table, accepting service terms which your company cannot provide. Why do you do that as the Price Peddler? Well, if I didn't, I wouldn't get the business. Well, typically the brand of a low price salesperson in a company is low because the rest of the company knows that anything this person sells is not going to provide the desired return, and it will just really waste everyone's time. Furthermore, when there are problems with servicing the client, or if the client doesn't pay in the 90 to 180 day payment terms they gave, this person is too busy on the golf course or partying with the next client who they plan to sell the next low price deal to. So not only is the salesperson's coworkers unhappy with this person, but the suppliers working with this salesperson's company are frustrated also because they're constantly having to be beaten up on price because the deal was sold too low, and delivery. In other words, they've got to produce it quicker to support the person's sale because the margin is so low. They have to turn inventory, the distributor does. So they're now beating up the supplier on lead times to be able to turn the inventory quicker to improve the margin. So from a manufacturer's perspective, they get beat up by the supplier, but now the rest of the market is going back to that manufacturer, complaining about the pricing that this salesperson is selling at, and just assuming that they got a special deal from the manufacturer based on the selling price to the end client. When that really wasn't the case, that salesperson just sold it too low. So the manufacturer is getting hammered from the price, having to do a better price, having to do better lead times, and then the rest of the market out there complaining about what this one salesperson did. So lastly, this type of salesperson who is so desperate to make the low price work, they have to cut corners on quality with the end client, which leads to rejections, which cost more money to the salesperson's company, diminishes the return. And then in addition, the end client gets negatively impacted because there's extra downtime to run the ineffective product. There's also more labor, more scrap, costs more money to run the low price product than just a regular product. Again, the low price salesman or the Price Peddler has impacted everybody within the chain here, the manufacturer who's making the product and investing into R&D, the distributor who has all these resources to give, but it's being diminished, as well as the end client. So lots of times the companies that take too many of these type of deals, either they go out of business because it's easy to happen, or are bought by other companies. We have seen a lot of M&A going on in the last 18 months. A lot of it, in my opinion, is due to poor salesmanship. High profile companies who have like this huge market share, but they have no profits because what did they do to get market share? They sold it too cheap. So not only is market share not always the best thing as it pertains to a company's performance. Sometimes it is, but in this case, it's not. So where do we go from here? We've talked about the price peddler. We've talked about the young, hardworking person. So having a brand of bringing the best strategic solution seems to be the unicorn brand. Again, I'm a little bit biased with that regard, but having that brand makes everyone happy because you're bringing the total cost of ownership to the client, and everyone is happy because you're not going out there and just selling on price. So as I mentioned, the client enjoys the total cost of ownership. They love the fact that you're trying to come up with a solution to make their supply chain more efficient, more effective. And if it's the right type of client, they're gladly going to pay you for this service. Believe it or not, they will. And they're going to pay you gladly in 30 days or less. The company you work for, the distribution company, everyone loves working with this salesperson because they feel a part of the solution because he's got everybody involved with the client as well as the sale. The salesperson works hand in hand with them, their coworkers, and doesn't just drop a deal in their lap and say, hey, I got this deal. You figure it out. I'm in sales. You're in procurement. You figure it out. You figure it out operations. My job is to sell. Well, you didn't really sell. You price peddled. So if there's a problem with the solution or the client, this salesperson of choice is ready to step in and help. Also, the rest of the company knows the return from this client will be strong as the salesperson associated with this client did not just sell this on price. The procurement team knows that they won't have to beg the suppliers for a better price or payment terms. The manufacturer is going to be inspired to work with the salesperson's company because it is likely that the salesperson sold the value of the product. Whatever R&D that was put in by the manufacturer, chances are this salesperson sold that R&D or sold what was different about this manufacturer to the end client. So it wasn't about price. They appreciate the fact that they're not asked to do things above and beyond while being asked to then discount the price and improve the lead times to account for lean inventory. The distributor needs to run to account for the low price. So the supplier perception rating because of this salesperson's bad deal could be bad from the manufacturer's point of view, or the salesperson who sold the value of it could actually improve the supplier perception rating for the manufacturer. So again, a lot to understand there, but it's important. So at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you, what's your brand? Are you the hardworking person who's learning and trying to make it work? I was that guy about 30 years ago. I was lucky to have learned, but I really was hardworking, but I didn't have a whole lot of technology until the internet. Or are you going to be the price peddler who just basically hurts everyone by selling on price? Or are you going to be the salesperson who can make everyone happy within the chain, the manufacturer, your company, and most importantly, the end client? So are you going to simply sell or are you going to price peddle? Thank you so much for listening to this podcast.